Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. It has been quite some time since I uploaded because I have gone back to school, which takes up all of my energy, and I have mainly been posting on another channel that I created that I will link down below called Cultural Appreciation. And basically it's just me experiencing and appreciating and talking about different cultures from around the world. So if you're interested, then definitely check it out. But you clicked on this video not for that, but to see what I have read recently. I have reached my 30 book goal on Goodreads. I've read 32 books so far this year, and I know that there's only going to be more as we go into the cozy reading vibes months. And if you are interested in seeing what I've been reading and seeing just quick little snippet reviews, then I will leave my Goodreads in the description as well. So let's just get into it. I have my laptop here because I still have been loving audiobooks. That is the majority of what I've been listening to. Some of these I've read like book in hand, but a lot of them are audiobooks. The first book that I read is by Lisa Friedland, and it's The Last Summer at the Golden Hotel. I read this book because my sister brought it on our European cruise, and I finished my book, she finished this book, and I was like, I'll just read it because you brought it with you. Neither one of us liked it that much. It's just a contemporary romance, and I just need to recognize that I do not love contemporary books. And it's not like a full-blown romance novel per se, but every contemporary book has to have something about sex. And I'm like, I just want to read like a cute little love story or a cute little story about a beautiful hotel like in New York, which is essentially what this book is. It's a, family drama all about a hotel that, was the best of the best in its heyday and eventually kind of starts to crumble, and the families are trying to decide basically whether or not to revamp it or sell it. It was okay. I had bigger hopes for it, but I still finished it. So 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. This is one that I am unhauling though, because my sister said, keep it. It's your job to bring it back on the plane, and now I don't want it anymore. Next book is Jim Gaffigan's Food, A Love Story. I read his book, Dad is Fat, I think like a couple months ago, and truth be told, that one was not that good. That was not my favorite. This one I adored. On Goodreads, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This is where like his comedy really shines, I think, because he's known as like it sounds so terrible, but he claims this himself, like the fat food loving comedian. And I definitely think that this was more like up his alley for like his type of comedy. It was also up my alley because I love food so much, and I just got a kick out of the different ways that he would talk about food, how much he adores it, how all of us are way too gluttonous, but it's funny. And I know it's a sin, so be careful. Next book was an audiobook, and this was Stanley Tucci, Taste My Life Through Food. This was 5 out of 5 stars. Stanley Tucci I really enjoy, and I just recently started watching his TV show. I forget what it's called, like Tasting Italy or something. He loves food, which I love. Again, I have really been enjoying listening to food books, trying out new food cookbooks. If you check out my channel, Cultural Appreciation, then you will see some of my cooking on there. This book I listened to read by him, and you can just see his love for food, love for Italy, his family's home country, his love for his parents, and it just is really joyous. And he also adds in there a lot of really amazing recipes that I have written down and hope to try very soon. Next book, another audiobook, is by Casey Davis, and it is How to Keep House While Drowning, A Gentle Approach to Cleaning and Organizing. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I think that I was being a little bit too kind with it. This book I was like excited to listen to because I am a wife and I have a house and I love my house and I love taking care of it and taking care of things like for my husband so that he can come home to a beautiful home. But I also work a full-time job. I'm a teacher. I just started coaching cross country. So I wouldn't say I'm drowning, but I am busy. So I thought this is going to give me some practical ways to take care of my house while having a busy schedule. Truthfully, this book was like, there's no easy way for me to say this. It's like for people that are depressed, have like anxiety, and just basically like have no motivation. Throughout this, she talks about like people that we would label as lazy. She says there's no such thing as laziness. Instead, there's people that, have like mental health orders that prevent them from getting up and doing the dishes or caring about a tidy house, even though it's going to be like kind to themselves to wake up to like a clean home in the morning, Anyways, This book was very woke. And I understand that there are people out there with actual mental health problems and, cleaning really is an issue. Like, I've seen the TV show Hoarders, but she definitely is tailoring this to that type. I like a clean house and I want it to be clean, and I like, the action of tidying for the most part. It's just like, how do I do it when I'm so busy and come home exhausted at the end of the workday? That wasn't really what she was talking about. She also talks a lot about class and institutionalized oppression, which I'm just like, what does that have to do with cleaning a house? Maybe you want to enlighten me in the comments down below if you feel differently, but I don't know if I will ever fully understand. Moving on from that, I read another contemporary book. This is by Ray Ann Thane, The Sea Glass Cottage. This book, it feels like it has nothing to do with the Sea Glass Cottage. Essentially, there's this woman that owns a garden center, and she falls, breaks her hip. Her daughter from Seattle has to come and kind of help take care of her. And there's a lot of small little love stories written throughout it. And they're sweet love stories, But the Sea Glass Cottage, it just makes me kind of think that it's going to be about an Airbnb. And it's definitely not. It's just the main lady's house. She calls it the Sea Glass Cottage, and they never really expand on why it's even called that. So this and a couple other books are examples of how people name their books the weirdest things to me that have nothing to do with the actual book. Anyways, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Overall, I would say it's fairly innocent as far as the romance goes. It's definitely more innocent than The Last Summer at the Golden Hotel. There's some weird stuff at the end though. This is a spoiler, okay? If you want to read this book, then fast forward. We find out at the end, which was kind of a shock, a good shock, but a shock nonetheless. We find out at the end that the main lady who fell, her daughter had another sister who died from an overdose. And that daughter was best friends with this other guy who's now the fire chief. Her sister and this guy had a kid together, which is the main lady's granddaughter, the other one's niece. But the sister, the one that's still alive, she ends up dating and then marrying the fire chief. And I was just thrown for a loop. I was like, are you kidding me? That, it just seems weird to me. It seems so weird. And they go into oh, but it was never romantic. She was just sad because I was leaving on deployment, blah, blah, blah. So we slept together once and that's all that happened, yada, yada. It was just very odd to me. And just kind of made me feel icky because I'm if I was the main girl that was still alive, I would never want to see this guy again, to know that he slept with the sister. It's just odd to me. So thinking about that, it's not quite as innocent as, I said that it was. Do I recommend it? No. 4 stars because of the shock factor, but I would not read this again. This I am also unhauling. The author also just gave the main girl, I already forgot her name, Cassie, or maybe that's the niece, I don't know. She gives her too many problems, okay? We start the book knowing that she was in a coffee shop that was held up at gunpoint. Her dad died in a fire. Her sister died of an overdose. She just broke off an engagement, a whole bunch of weird random stuff. And I'm okay, just give her one of these problems. This seems unrealistic at this point. Next book, Harry Potter book, Quidditch Through the Ages by Kenilworthy Wisp, aka J.K. Rowling. This was just a good book. I can't believe I've never read this before. I also have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and plan on reading that very soon. Next, an audiobook. This is Winning the War on Worry by Louis Giglio. This book was all right. I am not necessarily what I would consider a worrier, but starting the school year, there's stress and concerns, and getting an email from a parent that always gets my heart rate pumping. And I just thought I could use some reassurance, from the Bible, which obviously I should just read my Bible, but the fact that Louis Giglio looked into specific verses about worry and then presented them that enticed me. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because what he said was good. It made sense and it was all biblically sound and biblically based. I will say though that this book, the audiobook was only 2 hours, I think. And I just feel he could have done more. So I definitely think that it was lacking, but maybe it would work for you. I don't know. I give it 5 stars, mainly because, again, it was biblically accurate and sound doctrine, but it just wasn't my favorite. Okay, next two books. I'm in the cozy spirit. As you can maybe see by my fall foliage behind me, it is Labor Day, and I am like, okay, summer's behind us now. So these two books are by Debbie Young. The first one I read is Murder at the Vicarage, and then the second is Murder in the Manger. Murder at the Vicarage is supposed to be like a mystery, which I don't remember any murder happening in this book, but it takes place during Halloween. The second one, Murder in the Manger, again, supposed to be like a mystery that takes place during Christmas time. I listened to both of these on Libby audiobook, and I am not above saying maybe I just missed it and I wasn't paying attention when I was listening. I do not remember any murder happening, specifically in Murder in the Manger. Murder in the Vicarage, there's like one murder that happened years ago that they like bring up a little bit, but nobody like during the time of the book's events was murdered in either one of them. So I'm like, okay, these are very strange titles for it, and I don't think that it could be entitled Murder or like a mystery novel, because there was no mystery to me. Like it was, I wrote in my Goodreads review of Murder in the Manger, it was too cozy. It was just like a cute little book, like, and it was cozy thinking about fall and Christmas, but murder mystery, no. So that's it. Again, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more fall books that I'm going to be reading very, very soon to update you guys on. If there's any books that you think that I should read during fall or Christmas. Also, isn't it so funny? Like, Christmas is a season to me, just like fall is a season to me. I don't say fall and winter, I say fall and Christmas. If there's any books that you think would work during those time periods, then leave me a comment down below and let me know what you've been reading recently and what you're looking forward to reading during fall. Thanks for watching. Bye.